say that she visited Cabo San Lucas last month with friends.
All I know that she went to college with them.
She told me they had a chef
sitting there drinking.
You don't take that long to get naked. They creep.
Good look, can you at least say that?
And that's when the service workers came in and discovered her body. And keep in mind, guys, I don't know how they got this information. Gerardo never cleared it up in the interview if he himself actually talked to this maid or if this is Chinese whispers.
The body was found the same position where she fell, which was sitting down. That's exactly how they found the body. That's where they found her.
The cleaner found her on the floor on the same spot. So I can only assume after that, they put clothes on her. But what do you think?
She died between 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. She wasn't moving no more.
That's right, yeah.
In fact, when she did touch her, her body was already hard. So what happened was that when the body was found in the bedroom, the other folks were not in the bedroom. They were out. She went looking for them to inform them that she had found the body. She mentioned that the friend was ill. And so when they came back, they faked it as if they didn't know what had happened. At 2:13 p.m. was when the call was placed to the doctor.
Okay, so apparently according to the police report in Mexico, I will point out that I haven't seen this report with my own eyes, basically going off what the journalist has said. So at 2:13, medical help was summoned to the villa. It was unclear who called for help, but apparently it was winter. Now, Dr. Gutierrez, she was told that Shanquella had drunk a lot of alcohol. She was called to give Shanquella IV. After this, Khalil ends up calling Shanquella's mother.
It started with a frantic call from Robinson's friends.
Her friend Khalil
They said she wasn't feeling well.
Was sick,
throwing up, they wasn't feeling well.
And she's resting.
wasn't responding. So at that time, they said a doctor was on the way to examine her.
They had to pay $150 for the doctor to come.
And I wanted to know why they couldn't take her to the emergency room. They said because they needed $5,000 cash to be seen in the emergency room.
So I feel like this was an excuse for a reason for Shanquella not to go to the emergency room. I don't think it would have cost $5,000.
And I said, well, she has insurance. They said they didn't take insurance by being out the country. It was a little different. I told them just keep me informed.
Then Nazir ends up arriving in Mexico.
So I get off my flight around like 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we're 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m.
So the internet seems really confused about this, so let me break it down. He actually left at 10:25 a.m. Central Daylight Time, okay? And he arrived Mountain Daylight Time, as you can see in the document here. So Central Time is actually 1 hour ahead of Mountain Time. One website says it takes 2 hours and 36 minutes flight from Dallas to Cabo, and another website says it's 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I make a phone call to everybody who were there. I needed the address. During this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Kula wasn't feeling good. They told me that Kula was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning, and they got that because one of their friends told them that she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning. But I didn't know it was a fight. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26.
Okay, so on a low season, according to the internet here, it could take 15 minutes to go through immigration. And from the airport to Villa Linda 32, it takes around 21 minutes. He does mention traffic. He is there in the afternoon, so it is quite possible that there was a traffic, and that's why it took him an hour to get there. So according to my calculations, if we were going off the flight time, he would have arrived there at 1:34 p.m. And if we're going off what he said, he would have arrived at 3:31 p.m.
So I got to the villa around 3:26. So when I got there, she was in the game room. They told me she was not feeling good. The maids found her slumped over the toilet in her room. That's what I was told. Kula was not dead.
The body was found the same position where she fell, which was sitting down. That's exactly how they found the body.
So I instantly go to her, put on her side, get a bag and all that. So I'm sitting right next to her the whole time.
And apparently he ends up going on Instagram making a story saying,
I'm here, that I Kula get up. I'm thinking like, damn, we got stuff to do. She was unresponsive. I tried to get her to talk to me and all that, but it was none of that. I was there the whole time in the game room, and then they was talking about cooking, so we made it to the living room. I cut on some soft music, sitting with her, rubbing her head, just chilling, waiting till the nurse came, because that's what I was informed that was happening.
And how did you not notice any of the beating that she would have had in her face? And why did you never confront the others? This was never made clear in this IG live. It really sounds like he's trying to cover up for his friends. Anyway, I digress. So that's when the Dr. Carolina Beatriz Ornelas Gutierrez of an American Medical Center of local hospital arrived to treat Robinson, according to the report, to treat Shanquella. So back to Nazir, if he did arrive at 3:31, how come he didn't see the nurse beforehand? So either the report is wrong, he did not arrive at the time he said he arrived, and he actually did arrive at the flight time and was at the villa at 1:34 p.m. because that would make more sense of him not seeing the nurse while he was there. And if the autopsy is correct with the time of death, he was in the villa when that situation happened. Or maybe in the room, we don't know yet. Then we have the maid report, according to Gerardo, and they're saying that she possibly could have died between 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. But this would also mean when the attack happened, the cleaners would have seen it, according to the autopsy time. I still believe that this thing happened in the morning, so who knows, maybe he stayed in the airport for extra time because maybe he found out that this situation happened. I'll keep you guys updated when more information comes. I'm still a bit on the fence with this.
At first I was told that it was a male coming, and then a female showed up.
Now, according to the doctor, Shanquella had stable vital signs but dehydrated, unable to communicate verbally and appear to be inebriated. Anyway, Nazir ends up even telling on the doctor.
I didn't really notice the knot on her head until the nurse pointed it out. I did see the bump on her lip. She did have a blood vessel bust in her eye, and that's it. But I didn't really go in there like, damn, y'all jumped her, y'all beat her ass, what's going on?
And this is really interesting because this is not mentioned in the report at all.
So the doctor did not report that there was any bruising or anything like that on Shanquella's face. Gerardo had spoken to a colleague, and the colleague feels that the doctor may have not noticed that there was any bruising on Shanquella's face
until the nurse pointed it out.
Because of Shanquella's skin color.
He was African American, 24 hours
There's
old.
a bruise there.
There is a bruise there.
You can't see it with the naked eye.
You can't see it.
Professor Catherine Scafidi is at George Mason University.
By relying just on our eyes to see a bruise, unfortunately, we are creating a disparity in how we're able to detect injuries across diverse populations. Through yellow goggles, increases the odds of detecting bruises up to 5 times.
It must have been severe then if the doctor could see it. So yes, it is possible that they might not be able to see a bruise. But according to Nazir, he said the doctor pointed it out. Well, he didn't say specifically what he pointed it out. He did mention something about a knot. So if the doctor can see these certain things, how come it was not in the report? Now, the doctor did say that Shanquella should be transported to the hospital, but her friends insisted that she be treated in the villa. And that's when she gave Shanquella the IV.
Try to help pull her, try to put some salines in her, but her energy, she didn't have no electrolytes, her oxygen was low, so she couldn't find them.
Now, according to the report, the doctor was there for an hour until Shanquella ended up having a seizure. It lasted less than a minute, according to the report. And she also had a muscle sphincter relaxation, I think is how they worded it, which means her body would have released her fluids. And that's when Winter ended up calling the police to request for an ambulance. And apparently Shanquella had very low breathing, lowered pulse, and so they end up giving her rescue breaths. According to the doctor and the friend gave Shanquella CPR.
The reason why she had done the 14 CPRs was because of Shanquella's friends had pressured her into doing that. So Shanquella's neck was fractured already, and with her doing the CPR, with them having some kind of chance of reviving her, believing that she was going to be revived, damaged her even more so.
Mrs. Zuniga, in your reporting, you stated that a friend had assisted the doctor with CPR until the ambulance arrived. Do you know the name of that friend?
It wasn't a friend, it was a paramedic from the Red Cross.
Guys, this is what's really weird because on his own report, he even said, and I know a little bit of Spanish, it says, con, meaning with la ayuda, the help of de one of his friends. That's what it translates to. So when he says that it wasn't the friend who was helping the doctor, either he got his own report wrong and he hasn't updated it, or he's confused and he thinks that the interviewer is talking about when the Red Cross arrived with the police and got help doing the CPR, etc. And that's when the doctor detected that Robinson Shanquella had no pulse. Police came, spoke to the doctor around 5 p.m. and apparently Red Cross came with or after them sometime, and the group actually had to leave the house and talk to the police.
Only the paramedics from the Red Cross and the doctor went in. So no, they are first responders, but they were outside. They could not come in. They were outside talking to Shanquella's friends. They didn't come in until after the doctor said it was okay to come in.
Now, when the ambulance came, apparently they gave, the report information indicates paramedics administered a total of 14 rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, and 6 discharge AED shocks without success. Now, during this time, this is when Khalid ends up calling
back and says that they are trying to resuscitate her. And you're trying to understand, well, what's going on? And then he comes up with this alcohol poisoning.
And then she ended up being declared dead at 5:57 p.m. It's crazy that none of them noticed that there's a dead body there. The cleaner, the report, the autopsy all contradict each other. Did these people just simply not really give two shits? They just didn't really care? Some people are also suggesting that the police and everyone there are corrupt and they got money out of it because apparently $17,000 was taken out of Shanquella's luggage. But the thing is, who will bring that amount of money on a 3-day holiday?
And after the police came in, the investigators came in, they took fingerprints and they took the scene of the accident. There was no proof. There was nothing that indicated that there had been any type of fight. So yes, it is protocol that the PGE was notified.
Anyway, I guess during that time, that's when Shanquella's mother was called.
And said that Shanquella had passed.
They had to look at her, try to put an IV in her arm, and, said the IV popped out and she went into a seizure. That's what Khalid telling, her mom's all this right here now. So,
and at that point, it just took my heart, crumbled up, just knowing my child was gone, and I couldn't get there to her, could not do anything. And they said 3 minutes came, and no one couldn't do anything, couldn't save her.
Shanquella's mother ended up calling Shanquella's father.
The 29th, 7 or 8 p.m. and the phone rung. She said, Shanquella gone. So, I'm saying gone. Gone where? She dead. I said, dead how? And she said, alcohol poison. So when she said alcohol, I said, how's she got alcohol poison? Where's she at? So she said, Mexico, Cabo. So, the phone just, my phone dropped and I just started crying. I'm trying to figure out who she was over there with.
Right. And I never talked to my child again.
To the authorities who he's been in contact with in Los Cabos, told him that in the investigative report that Shanquella's body did not leave that villa until 10:30 p.m.
So it wasn't until they took her to the morgue and they did a further investigation was when they realized that there was bruising and that she had a fractured neck. So basically, after the body was removed, they basically packed and left.
For what our statement says, one of y'all called a taxi cab and
staying at an airport hotel.
One of you called back to the state and asked somebody what to do.
As you guys know, in the previous video, I mentioned that Winter was FaceTiming someone from what it looked like because someone ended up calling Shanquella's mother and telling her.
Later on that next day, I got a call saying that they was over there fighting Shanquella, saying they don't know why they was putting on alcohol poison, say Shanquella, they was jumping on her.
The next morning, they abandoned the place and left Shanquella the authorities.
So they end up coming back to America early than expected.
Salamandra says the entire group came back from Mexico, leaving her daughter's body there.
Is that Khalil came back, brought your daughter's luggage to the house, brought Dejanay, and he brought another girl, Winter Donovan, over to the house.
That was the statement they made to her mom and her sister, or everybody who was around over her sister's house, because they was asking questions.
Allegedly, Ricky, who was the ex-boyfriend of Shanquella, they used to be in a relationship for 4 years, was also at this dinner.
On ahead, they were eating food at the mama crib. First got there, I felt the fishiness, I felt the vibes, I felt all of that. And I already knew what was up. I had their little fake tears, and they often speak to me. Oh, hey, what's up, Ricky? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? You okay? Mom, they didn't speak to me. They gave me a funny look.
And that's when they were asked about the altercation. But they denied the altercation.
I told her mama and her sister right in their face, there was no altercation in that house. That's exactly what y'all said.
I'm assuming sometime around there, Khalil ended up posting on his Instagram saying, "Dear Miss Quella the boss, my heart is so effing torn, and all I can ask is why, or what I should have done differently. They say not to question the God, but this right here is just ain't sitting right with me. What am I supposed to do now? Who do I talk to about my business plans? And I just want to up and get up on a plane, and those going to come with me. We've been doing this ish, man, since 2014 type. We had so much more to accomplish together. I literally asked you the other day, when I get rich, what car you want? And you said an G-Wagon. Such a genuine soul. Beautiful and strong-minded individual, gone away too soon." These mofos really tried to fake the funk so bad.
Khalil had been coming back over to the house, He was coming around every day.
Yeah, he came to the house 4 days in a row.
I guess he was coming over to see what kind of information they knew.
I talked to him Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They kept on saying there was never a fight. There was never a fight. So I didn't believe any of them stories.
And Shanquella's father, the poor guy, had to go looking for his daughter's body. They had no information to where the body was at.
So me and my brother got on that phone and started Googling all the funeral homes that was over in Mexico, Cabo. So we came up with funeral home Riviera funeral home over there. And first we called, a guy answered the phone, he didn't speak English. So we called back again, and another young lady answered the phone, and her name was Elizabeth. And from that point on, she said, I asked her, you have ShanquellaRobinson over there? She said, yes, sir. Miss Robinson, I'm sorry for your loss. So from that point on, she said, Mr. Robinson, I'm going to stick with you until I get your daughter back to the States. That lady was like an angel. So a lot of paperwork had to be done. My mom sent the paperwork was already in the system. So I called her back. She said, yeah, I got the paperwork. I need a release form so I can release her body to you. And so we did that. And the bill came up and everything. I wired the money over there, did the paperwork, and it'll take a while for that paperwork to get done because they had to transfer everything over into English. And then 2 or 3 days later, when the report came back,
Thursday, we received the call. That was the autopsy saying.
The lady told me, no, Mr. Brown, your daughter didn't die of no alcohol poisoning.
Say she had a cracked spinal.
Trauma to her neck and her spinal cord.
Her neck had been broken.
And her spinal in the back was cracked.
After Robinson's death certificate showed she died of severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae.
So that automatic let me know that she were jumped.
Then once they came, when I called and sent what happened, then he was over there.
And her mother ended up confronting Khalil.
Then all of a sudden, from what they told me, he got all sick and wasn't feeling good. And say his aunt was with him or his mama was with him. He wanted to leave. And when he left, they ain't heard no more from him.
Yeah, he came to the house 4 days in a row until he found out we knew what the autopsy said. Haven't seen him since.
So if it was so alcohol poisoning, why did you guys run away? You guys ran.
Yeah. So she got back here last Thursday, around about 5 o'clock. So I'm sitting there in the funeral home. As soon as that door opened, and that box came in there with her in it, man, just cried like a baby. Didn't even want to leave out the funeral home. My brother had to pull me out of there. I'm sitting here looking at her, seeing, a knot on her head. My eyes swole. She got a cut lip. And, that's no alcohol wasn't going to do all that. So I said, something not adding up right here. No, I said, baby girl, your daddy is not going to let you die in vain. I will get justice for you.
Right.
Nearly 2 weeks and $6,000 later, her body is back home. but answers have been hard to come by.
So they still didn't have the answers, and then a domino effect started to happen. I believe Queen City's News was the first one to report on the situation nationally on TV about the mysterious death of her daughter.
You know, I know that's not going to bring my child back, but I want something done about it.
Queen City News has spoken with officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico who refute the claim that Robinson was murdered, saying the police's initial indication is that there was no clear evidence of foul play. Here in Charlotte, her family refuses to believe their daughter's death was an accident, and they vow to find the truth of what happened that night in Cabo.
The U.S. State Department said that. That is crazy to me. Anyway, something must have happened, okay? This video that I showed you in the previous video started to go viral online. It's really hard to tell who was the one to release it. Was there something going on with the Cabo 6, they call them? Did some conflict happen in the group? Some people feel that it was Alyssa Hyatt due to her sister getting murdered in the morning before she left to Cabo. Some people said she knew before she left. Others are saying she knew after. Those questions have really not been answered. I feel if it was Alyssa Hyatt who did it, I feel like she would have come forward by now. Some people saying it's the person who Winter was FaceTiming. There's a chance that someone in that friendship group passed it to one person, who passed it to another person, and eventually put it on the internet, and it just went viral.
And when I saw the video, for y'all to beat her, knowing she's not a fighter, for y'all to, I don't know if y'all woke up out of her sleep, to beat her naked like that. Well, while she was naked.
And with a viral video that is making us ask more questions about the death of a 25-year-old Charlotte woman. Well, tonight the FBI tells WBTV it has its hands on a graphic video that her family says could help find answers.
Family tells me that video is key to proving she did not die from alcohol poisoning.
We're not going to stop until we get to the end of it.
I get to the bottom of it.
We're going to get to the end of this.
No, it's not gonna happen, yo. No, I've been crying, you know, I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.
So apparently Winter ended up going live with 3 other people, we don't know who, on an IG story.
All right, so yes, she did have a fight that y'all see that's going viral. Unfortunately, she did die because of...
The video does cut off here because it sounds like she's either walking in public or driving in public, so exception, but she says and it cuts off. So it's obvious that she was going to say alcohol poisoning.
On the bed, so I don't know. Because y'all see something in the video don't mean that happened. They're just trying to cover it up with a broken spine and whatever else they're saying.
Really? They're trying to cover it up with a broken spine? Why? I'm pretty sure the autopsy would have had that up. This girl is really stupid and thinks everyone's just gonna believe her bullshit.
You all like y'all. I was not fighting in the video, so...
A lot of people are taking this statement she said and changing it. Oh, you hear? She said she's not fighting in that video. No, she said I'm not fighting in the video. Because she wasn't fighting in the video, and there's still no evidence of a second video. If you want to know why I think that video doesn't exist, you can go check out my previous video I did. It makes sense.
The person that was fighting in the video is not up here, and she can only speak for herself. So until she gets up here, she can speak on her behalf.
That's what happened. That's how her spine broke. Stupid ass.
We are talking because we were there. There's multiple people there, not just the girl that was fighting. So I'm confused with what's the question you're trying to ask. Honestly, if me and my friend is going through something, we gonna fight it out. So that's just that. Nobody's gonna jump in, and that's just what happened.
Y'all want to hear the story? Shut the fuck up and just listen. Y'all act like we picked the bed up and hit her.
After she fell, she was not dead. So what are you talking about? Y'all can ask questions, we will answer them. But if y'all gonna be negative, we're just gonna start blocking people. No, the autopsy results is not valid.
I'm gonna block you.
If you're gonna be negative, I'm just gonna block you. Yes, because it's so positive to try to force someone out of their bed to attack them. Especially if it's alcohol poisoning. Alcohol poisoning signs and symptoms include confusion, vomiting, seizures, slow breathing, irregular breathing, blue, tingled skin or pale skin, low body temperature, passing out, So if she had alcohol poisoning and she's doing all this, why are you attacking her? Yeah, because I don't like the negativity. Being critical and calling out what your friend did, which was clearly in the video, is not being negative. You were just a cunt. Like, you can tell she has no remorse at all. I bet you any money these girls were just petty as hell. It was probably the most pettiest reason why they wanted to fight Shanquella.
Malik also posted, if you think for 1 second that I'll ever do something dumb or stupid to be away from my heartbeat, then you don't know me at all. Oh, okay. That's why you're running, right?
This thing going viral, there was a lot of good things that came out of this. Now people are starting to get answers. This whole situation's happening. Now Mexico has an arrest warrant. The FBI are doing their thing and trying to find these people. So good things have come from this viral video. Another person that ended up coming live was Nazir. He was getting dragged through the mud and he felt that he had to come on the internet to prove his innocence. You already seen most of the stuff that he said, but he also said
it's wrong. And for y'all to be attacking me, an innocent soul, like, I'm really innocent as fuck. I went there to enjoy my birthday. Like, to enjoy my birthday and to really just goddamn have fun. I didn't have not 1 second of fun. And take one shot and then smoke one. There was nothing good coming from that, man. I can't give nobody no other answer from Friday because they didn't tell me. I didn't go in there, sit down and make no alibi with nobody. I didn't know nothing. They didn't tell me nothing. Cross my heart and hope to die on this Bible right here. Y'all don't understand what I went through. I wouldn't sit here and lie to nobody. They already knew not to tell me because the person that I am was not letting it happen. Most respectful Miss Robinson, Quilla, everybody, like, y'all welcome me with open arms. Listen, heard me out, all of that. I didn't feel like anything was a problem. I respect that, and I want you to get justice for your daughter.
I feel like he was trying to make himself out to be the victim, and I'm sure it would have been a horrible experience, but this man has not contacted the family. It's just really interesting. This man wants to bring up the Bible. He's so godly, but still hasn't contacted Shanquella's family. My conclusion to this, I don't think that this was planned. I think the girl, for some reason, was petty and bitter towards Shanquella. Either jealousy or just people that didn't like her for some reason. Regardless, the way they handled the whole situation was very barbaric. If you have an issue with someone, you talk to them, especially if they were drunk the night before. You don't fight them. What they didn't expect was Shanquella not to fight back, and they end up killing her. And I feel that everyone in that room should be held responsible for it and all go to jail. I think they're cowards, liars, and manipulators. Now, if I do end up making a third video, you can click here. It should be there. If not, hit the subscribe button notification so you can keep updated, and I'll see you later. Peace.